All right, what's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode right here. Fired up, got my guest today, Brody Stevens. Brody Stevens, so you might know him from The Hangover, Due Date, Hangover 2.
Yep.
What else, buddy?
I've got an HBO digital project out there now on HBO Go, if you want to see that. I was cut out of Funny People. I've done stand-up on TV. It was on Conan O'Brien a few months ago. I've done the Craig Kilborn show. So I've done my share of stand-up.
Yeah, you got some credits.
I've got a couple credits that I've built up over time.
Yeah.
And people like credits, I guess. It makes you more legitimate.
They do. I got credits, but no one seems to care. I think if you have credits, they have to be ones that people seen or they think they're fake.
Yeah, but you've got good credits. You were in The Long Shots.
Yeah, I was in some big movies.
With big directors, Ice Cube.
That's right. But, sometimes if people don't see it, it don't mean nothing. It's weird to throw credits around if people haven't seen anything.
I always say, like, when I was in The Hangover, I don't recognize you from The Hangover. That means I'm a good actor.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
That's right. Yeah, you're a character actor.
I'm a character actor, and
like a Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no one realizes he was in Boogie Nights.
Yeah, exactly. He was great in that.
He wore a tank top, wanted to suck dick.
Right. Was that a stretch for him?
I don't know. I don't think he's gay, is he?
No.
Yeah, he's my favorite, though. I love him.
Yeah, he was great in that movie. And, yeah, you didn't know it was him until a couple years later.
That's
wow,
right.
It's Philip Seymour Hoffman. What a great actor. You've seen him in all these different movies.
Yeah.
And, wow, he was in that. And
yeah, but he's like a Paul Giamatti.
Exactly.
Yeah, these guys work for years, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I love this guy. You never know his name till, Capote comes along.
Or Sideways.
Yeah, exactly. Sideways, awesome.
And then you research, and then you go, wow, this guy has been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I've been watching, no need to touch on, the stuff with the 51. I mean, if people,
we're right into that.
Yeah, I'm saying if people don't know about that, they should watch your special because there's so much more, I think, to you, I've been watching this thing on HBO, and I think, first of all, it's an amazing format because it looks like it was a whole pilot, and you've just cut it up into pies. Is that what's going on?
Well, we set it up as episodes. It's 6 15-minute episodes. We shot a pilot, which was the first episode.
Right.
And every episode had a little bit, like a scripted bit, had some reality bit, and had some comedy bits leading up to, like, the next episode.
Right.
So, I mean, you could look at it like a movie, like it's a 90-minute movie, or you could break it up into the 6 15-minute episodes and look at it that way. But people seem to be watching it all the way straight through, which I like that because I feel like that's more of a movie or a documentary.
Well, also, you can't stop looking at it. I mean, to me, it's kind of like once you start watching, you're like, oh, I got to watch the next episode,
Yeah.
And the people in it, okay, you've got your mom in it.
My mom.
You've got your sister who you haven't talked to in years.
Yeah, don't talk to her that much. I do now. Now I'm talking to my sister more.
That's right. And then Zach Galifianakis,
Zach's in it.
Who's your friend. And then your former manager, is he managing you again now or still former?
He still helps me out, Dave Rath.
Yep.
So I would say he is managing me with certain things, yes.
Right. Now, my favorite part so far has been the Chelsea Lately thing where you go to her house.
I go to her house.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about her, boy, she's pretty abrasive, right? She just lets you know right away. Like, I don't know what happened, but I heard you were a dick.
Well, yeah, she's very honest, and some people say, like, they don't like, she came off bad on it. I felt like...
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way because that's how she is. She jokes around.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that.
She's always been real and honest with me.
Yeah.
And I thought, first of all, I'm grateful she said yes for doing it. Zach helped get that going because I was uncomfortable with how I left the show. It was bad for me.
Yeah, the animated part. Now, I mean, for anybody listening, you should watch this right away because this thing is so cool. There's these great things where you're talking about what's going on, and since they don't have footage of it, they have animated stuff of it.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it, but it's phenomenal. And it shows you like having this kind of meltdown. These guys are fucking around on the set of Chelsea Lately, and then you get mad and explode.
Yeah, that's what kind of happened that day. It was like they were, messing with me, not in a bad way, not maliciously, but just like to get a rise out of me.
Right.
And it was a holiday show. We were doing back-to-back shows, and I had to get the audience ready. And I feel like I need to do my job, and I couldn't do my job and getting the audience warmed up properly. And I didn't want to get, have them say, "Oh, hey, Brody, the audience isn't good today."
Right.
So
do they ever say that? Like, I've never done audience warm-up, but do they say, hey, you didn't get them going today?
That's happened a couple times, like, Brody, would you scare the audience, or the audience isn't warmed up, or
Right.
What's with these guys? So, like, I always feel like when I do audience warm-up, and I still do it here and there, I feel as though I'm responsible for how the audience is.
Right, exactly.
So if
you're like the host, like kicks off a comedy show.
Exactly.
Whatever you come out is going to set the mood.
I set the tone, but if, they say about audience warm-up is last to be hired, first to be fired kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
they don't think about the warm-up until the last second, then they hire them and they realize, wow, warm-up's very important. Now we
Yeah.
got to get somebody in here who kind of knows what they're doing.
Right.
But,
Don Barrett's been doing it for what, years on.
he's been there 9 years at Jimmy Kimmel. Don Barris is great. I've learned a lot from Don.
Right.
I did Chelsea for a few years. I did about 400 shows there. I did the Best Damn Sports Show on Fox Sports for over 1,000 shows. I've done about 2,000 audience warm-ups, and you got to be the audience's friend. You got to talk to them and just keep them entertained.
Yeah.
And
Are you doing your comedy like you do at the Comedy Store? Like, I did the Hangover.
yeah, I'll
Tuesday.
mention that stuff.
Right. Because that's good stuff.
Give them some laughs.
Yep.
But you never want to pull too much focus from the show. It's about the show you're working on.
That's right.
And you're there to, cheerlead. You let them know, like, hey, you guys are here. The host is going to play off you, depending on what show it is, and they usually do. Like,
Right.
the host is going to feed off your energy. So you guys matter. You're not just seat fillers.
That's right. Yeah, you let them know they're part of the show.
Yeah, you're part of the show. You're not at home watching. You're here involved in it. So
Yeah.
you're pushing that. You're putting that energy out. And we're the largest group here. Usually, like when you have an audience, it's the biggest group.
Now, what's that? Is that good money? Like doing that?
It can be. It's okay. It's like union money. There
Right.
is money. There is
Benefits and stuff.
well, if you do it long enough, I suppose.
You get a parking spot?
Sometimes. I had a parking spot at Chelsea.
I'm just trying to see what you walked away from. So you had a parking spot
At Chelsea, I had a parking spot,
and some money.
and I had weekly money coming in.
And sometimes you'd be in the circle.
Yeah, she'd put me up on the round table, and I did that about 10 times.
I mean,
and
that thing's like gold. You know,
Yeah.
there's like comedians you never heard of, or I mean, we've heard of, but not America. Then they start doing that. Next thing you know, they're selling out improvs across the states.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Chelsea, definitely you get recognized the most on that. And that's why I feel like on my HBO program, hopefully I didn't like burn any more bridges.
Well, you go back on the. I don't want to give too much away, but you do go back and you do the round table, which
Yeah.
is awesome. Now, when was that shot? A year ago?
It was like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, that
Okay.
round
And
table.
have you been back since?
I've been back once. I've done it twice.
Oh, well, that's cool. You're coming back, right?
Yeah, but I don't know now. Like after people are saying, "Oh, she comes off doesn't come off very good on the show." I don't want to feel like.
What, did you call her up and see if she saw it?
No, I haven't done that.
Yeah. Can you call her, or does Zach call her?
I could probably contact her.
Yeah, you
Go in
should,
there.
I think. You know what I mean? I mean, that way you're not sitting with it in your head. There's nothing worse in the biz than just shit sitting in your head, right?
Yeah.
Like, did I get the part? I haven't heard from anybody. Are those guys mad at me? They don't like me. All that stuff is brutal.
Yeah. I feel if she is upset or doesn't like it, I don't do Chelsea lately ever again. I don't do it again. There's a lot of comedians, bigger than me who don't get on the show.
Right.
And I wasn't trying to trash anybody.
Well, to me, it didn't look like that at all. I thought actually it looked cool. You got to come over. She was like, oh, God, man, I don't know what happened. And I'm sure people told her bullshit like, Brody just exploded, you know how that is. And then it just simmers over a couple weeks, and then people forget, and it's some kind of explosion you did. She don't even know anything about it because she's so fucking busy.
Right, she's busy. She didn't know.
Yeah, I think that you going over there, doesn't matter. She didn't come off anyway at all, I thought. The main thing that she came off as, to me, was rich. You saw her house, man. That was no joke.
She's got a nice house, and but I've heard some people say, oh, she came off as like bitchy on it or a bitch.
Right.
Like I got a tweet today, and it's like, I don't think so. I didn't feel that way.
I didn't either. I think it was more of like, this is some bullshit that happened a couple years ago. Sure, I'll talk about it, but I'm crazy busy, and let's get this behind us and whatever, and I'll move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, she probably never, ever thought of it ever again, and then until you guys contacted her. So that's how it looked like to me. Like, yeah, let's do this and get out of here.
I mean, I was feeling bad on how I left the show.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, because you talk about it sometimes.
That bothered me, how I left the show. I quit, or I thought I was going to get fired, and, for my childlike behavior.
Yeah, right. And so you quit.
I quit.
Right. And then did you call and say, no, just kidding, I want to come back?
No, I didn't say that. You
were hoping they'd call you to get you back, because that's what it looked like, right?
You would like to think that, but they're like, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of hurt me a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to have explosions, man, in this biz.
Yeah, or any job.
Yeah, any job, it just happens, I mean, you're a human. You got other stuff happening, building up. Maybe you can't pay your bills, or you had a bad month. You got a flat tire, your clutch went out, your girl left you, whatever. You're going to melt down.
Yeah.
You should get like 3 meltdowns.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
I mean? Like, you got 3 meltdown cards. You come in and go, here's my meltdown card. I'm going to have a meltdown today.
Well, I wasn't having a meltdown as much as I was just like going out in the hallway to vent because I couldn't.
Right.
It was a special circumstance day. We were doing 2 shows. It was like on a weekend or a holiday.
Right.
And everyone was kind of laid back. Yeah. Like it wasn't a normal, it wasn't a normal day. And I still have to warm up the audience. So when guys were like lackluster and I couldn't get the crowd going, I said, just play the music. And I went out in the hallway and I just vented to one of the producers there.
Right.
And he said that, basically was unprofessional.
Right.
And I felt as though, look, I've done 400 shows. I've never come out and vented in the hallway really like this.
Yeah, exactly. It happens. Producers melt down all the time.
Yeah.
And then they just expect you to just deal with it. Like if you're on a film set or something, they'll just fucking explode.
Yeah.
Over something stupid like there's no golf cart to get the hero to the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
And you're just like, really, dude?
Well, I went out there, and I did the rest of the show, and then there'd be the second show when we had some, the producer and we talked about it, and I felt like the situation wasn't resolved. It kind of like hurt my feelings.
Right.
And it was hard to give that Brody energy.
Yeah.
For that second show, and that's where I got into trouble because I kind of just coasted through.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show them, like, you need me to be in a good mood and be happy. That's,
that's part of it. You can't be in a bad mood and then go out and try to warm people up.
Right. You got to be happy.
Happen. Yeah. It's like when you do sets and you're in a bad mood. It's really weird because you're walking on and you can feel yourself like, and then you got to pull that back a little bit like, oh, man, I'm killing these guys.
Yeah, I've been struggling with that with some, like, they say, like, if you're but sometimes if you're in a bad mood, it's good comedy.
It is. If the people are on board, I get it. Sometimes I go on and I feel I'm a little mean.
Uh-huh.
And then if you just smile while you're doing the mean stuff, then they're laughing.
Yeah.
But if you forget to smile, they're like, this guy is mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm out there going like, you fucking asshole, you missing 3 teeth on a joke. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of, I don't know. It's just weird.
Smiles can get you
Get you through the mean, edgy stuff.
Yeah, and it's just good to smile. It's good to
It is.
have
I just
that
read
smile.
Neil Brennan said that. He was like, yeah, when you're doing the edgy stuff, you got to learn just to smile. Because at the end of the day, it is a performance,
You're performing.
Right. And people, you got to have them like it. You're not trying to sell out. Mm-hmm. But you do want them to tune in. And if you're mean, they're not going to tune in. You might be like their boss at work.
Yeah. Sometimes I get that, like I'm aggressive or not. Yeah, like I get that sometimes. And it's hard to do that. And it depends on where you're performing too. Like the Laugh Factory, they're there, they're happy.
That's what like you and I go on at the Laugh Factory a lot late, and it seems like if you go on, you're edgy or you're like, I did the Hangover. They're kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
They've just seen maybe a couple of guys that there are big stars. And they're, it's their Saturday night, and they're out having fun, and then we come on, and they're like, "What are these guys?"
Yeah,
And
you got to give them. But if you stick with it, and they come around. They come around. But it's getting them to like you quicker. Sometimes you just got to do your jokes and just go through the jokes and smile and this and that, and then they come around. Sometimes. You just have to remind yourself. I've had sets like at the Comedy Store. Just stick with it. Take the bullet early on.
The Store, you can be so edgy. It's great. And also, I feel with the Store, you can just eat it and keep going and explore stuff, and you're going to be booked the next day.
Yeah.
Where the other places, it's more of a business, and they're like, hey, you didn't get them laughing. I don't know if we should have you back.
Yeah, it could be like that.
It can be like that. So the Store is such a safe ground. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, you could do crazy stuff there. It's dark in there. It's like anything goes.
That's right. People laugh more at edgy stuff in the dark. Like I got the crabs joke, and they're going to laugh like crazy at the Store because it's dark.
Right.
And it's a weird topic about crabs.
Yeah.
You do it at the factory Saturday night at, 9:30, they're not going to be laughing at that.
Why is that?
It's lit up in there. It's too bright, I think. So they want to laugh, but they're embarrassed that people are going to see them laughing at, say, a rape joke or a sexual transmitted disease joke, or Down syndrome's joke, or whatever the edgy is supposed to be this week.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed, I think. Of like, I don't want people to think I laugh at this. I want them to think I'm PC.
Yeah.
And as the night goes by and the drinks go down, then they can't stop. They
loosen up.
Yeah, they can't hold it back.
What about the improv? I feel that's a nice happy medium between the Comedy Store.
Medium dark. The people are in the back in the balcony. You don't really see them. I think it is a medium. Out of all three, I don't know. Probably the Store the best for edgy material.
Yeah.
Improv probably the best for agents and stuff to come see you. And then the Laugh Factory is just great as like a full-blown showcase of your thing, You go in and do your set. You don't experiment in the Laugh Factory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't.
You don't. You can't. You got to go in, you got to do your set.
I wish you could experiment more in there.
I do too, because it's always pretty good crowd, and if you can experiment and take it to the to the end, then you can really see what was working and what wasn't. But I can always tell when you're having a medium set there and you get off. It's not like anybody's saying anything.
Yeah,
the employees or anything. So it seems like you got to really bring it.
I did a set there when I was being Brody. I was doing this whole like. Yes, I'm Brody. You got it. I'm here. I'm this. I did that.
Yeah.
And it went. I thought it went pretty well. I went on after midnight. It was late, closing a show.
Was that the show I was on where Dane came and you split? And then
then I came back
a couple weeks ago.
And I came back and I went to the Comedy Store. I had a decent set. Then I came back to the Laugh Factory and I kind of built on that. Being myself, going for it, not trying to like get people on my side necessarily, just being Brody, assume they knew me.
Awesome.
And I thought it was a good set, but then I got a couple, I got one hate tweet. This guy said, that I was a jerk and I shouldn't talk about that kind of stuff.
Wow. You get hate tweets?
No, not really, not
Right.
anymore. I mean, I did back.
Yeah.
I did when I first started podcasting. I got some hate tweets.
Right.
When I was first doing shows over at Death Squad
Yeah.
with Red Band and all them.
Yeah. It's always interesting. Like if I put videos up on YouTube's, the amount of hate that can come from people, you know, like the stuff they find, like on me, they'll be like, this guy's fucking short. He's got a big forehead.
Yeah.
Shit like that. It's like, yeah, but is the joke funny? I mean, last time I checked, comedians weren't supposed to be good looking. They're ugly, weird looking, strange dudes.
Yeah.
That's why they're in comedy. But in the last 10 years, you got good looking comics. So all of a sudden they're looking at what you look like. Like, that's ludicrous, you know?
Yeah, comedy is not based on being good looking. It's based on being like different and
Yeah. That's why I love you. You know what I mean? Like, the thing I like about you is you're 100% different. And as I watched the HBO Go thing, I realized your jokes are real. You're like, got a mom that lives in
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs in what is it, like a
Senior Center.
Senior Center, you know, there she is. You know, and then you're like, I live in the 818.
Yes, well, I used to.
Yeah, right. Now you don't, but on the thing you do. But, you know, I love real acts and people that, you know, I mean, like CK, he's not a good looking dude, but no one's saying like, yeah, he's bald. He's
Right.
a redhead. You know what I mean? He's heavy or whatever, you know? It's weird. Because
No one says anything about that because it's about this comedy.
That's right. That's right. But, man, they get on this YouTube and they'll just start machine gunning. I don't care because if you're going to put it up, you're going to get that. That's all there is to it.
If you put up the videos.
That's right. You're putting. I mean, we're in the entertainment business and you can't please everybody. And if you did, you're just like, I mean, you're probably horrible, you know?
Right.
What are you going to do?
I don't post many videos on YouTube anymore. I
too, because it's hard that you're writing the stuff and you don't want to give it away.
That, and then you just, but I don't mind if other people put it up.
Right.
You know, like,
like Laugh Factory.
Yeah, Laugh Factory will put up their videos.
Only.
Yeah, let them put it up.
That's right.
And that's the thing now. Now they have this HBO thing. That's a whole thing in itself.
Yeah.
And I've got that. I'll always have that 90 minutes of a show that hopefully will continue to grow. And
yeah, I think it's awesome. One of the things I like about it is it feels like the future of TV to me as far as the length of the show. Mm-hmm. No commercials, 15 minutes. Okay, because if you look at sitcoms, I think they're, 18 now because of commercials?
They're 18 or 20,
22.
22 minutes.
One of the two, yeah, 22. So really, you're just backing out a couple minutes, and it's just all, fire. I watch it, and I was like, this is great. I want to watch the next one. And then you're going to be through with them, and you're ready for them to come back.
Yeah. These guys did a great job editing, directing. I was kind of like, I came up with the idea a little, of the outline, the structure, and like little individual bits. And then from there, these guys did all the work in terms of directing and editing. I don't edit. I don't direct. I'm just myself. So I was able to be Brody, do my stand-up. And then when I would do stand-up, we would say, okay, let's hit these certain points on the stand-up so that could lead into this episode.
Yeah, which is great.
And then we would have these little bits with my sister and jewelry and whatever. I tried to keep that real and then have the stand-up tie everything together. The bottom line is the show, I mean, the response I've gotten is like more than anything I've ever gotten by a long.
That's great.
Now,
how did it get made? Let's talk about that because you were working on it and then you have the meltdown and you would think that everybody would just kind of run away. You don't have the meltdown. You get off medication.
Right. I got off my meds, and I was sick, and I was on an antibiotic also.
Right. You were in Montreal.
I was in Montreal. I got sick up there. And I may have got sick because I was weaning myself off the Lexapro. I wanted to get off it. I was feeling good.
Yeah, and you weren't telling anybody, right? You were just, I'm getting off this.
Yeah.
How long had you been on it?
Probably 5 years.
And what got you on it? You were just down in the dumps?
No, I was never down. I was never depressed. I was always about like just being anxious a little bit and having to deal with life, anxiety, mostly anxiety, which would make me depressed indirectly, but I was never depressed. I was always upbeat, but I would be anxious about.
So were you misdiagnosed? The doctor just says, take this strong ass shit and reform your mind?
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of just. My regular doctor gave it to me,
right?
And he said, just take this. You'll take this every day, and it should work. And it did work.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to a psychiatrist. I wasn't going
focused.
Yeah. And I was able to do warm up. I was able to have good energy. Right. I was able to. It worked. And it was working so well, I just wanted to get off it eventually because I feel like, hey, I'm doing well. I'm not doing warm-up anymore. Right. I'm trying to I want to get into being more of a headlining stand-up comedian.
Right.
And I didn't feel like the Lexapro was holding me back, but I wanted to be a little more loose.
Right.
And I went on this trip to Ireland, and I was weaning myself off a little bit, and then I got sick in Canada. Yeah. Real bad sick.
What'd you have, the flu or something?
Yeah, I got like the flu. I couldn't strep throat.
Wow.
Like 24-hour.
And you're on the road when this happened?
Yeah, I was at the Montreal Comedy Festival. I was like stuck in my room for 2 days. And I went downstairs and the doctor said, you have strep throat. Take this antibiotic. You'll feel better in 24 hours. So I started taking this antibiotic, and you know what? The next day I felt better. He gave me this gargle, and he gave me, and I felt better. I mean, I couldn't even swallow. And at that point, I said, you know what? I'll just stay on the antibiotics. I'm feeling good. Maybe I don't need the Lexapro.
Right.
And then I just kind of stayed on the antibiotics. And from that point on, I just kind of spiraled upward. I became like manic and out of control.
Yeah, because some people go suicide and when they get off their medicine because their brain just goes meltdown. It's programmed in a different form, right? And then they just go out like Kurt Cobain or something, you know?
Yeah, well, I went upward. I was happy.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I was not depressed.
Yeah, because they got the doctor on your show, and he said one of the side effects is you're like a lot of energy, no sleep, and you're like, it's almost like a loony. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know, and you're like, I feel great, but you're like times 10.
Yeah, I was combative. I was times 10, and I was off my meds. You're not supposed to stop cold turkey.
That's right.
And I had an antibiotic, and I was traveling, and I had whatever, I don't know what stress I had, but I knew I didn't have bad stress. I knew I had this HBO opportunity. Right. I knew that TMZ liked me. I was doing TMZ stuff. Not that I'm like into paparazzi, but they let me do my own thing.
Right, yeah,
I was starting to do stuff.
Right.
And I felt that I don't think that made me that affected me because before I'd done the Hangover, I'd done Hangover 2, I've done Due Date, I had done Chelsea lately,
and working like crazy.
And I never freaked out.
Yep.
So I feel like this was definitely medication induced.
Oh yeah.
And so I stopped taking it, and my friends got scared. Like I went on Twitter and stuff. I just felt like
I started seeing the tweets.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this guy's. I'm unfollowing him. He's tweeting every second. It was my whole timeline. I was going, what's going on with this guy? And I just figured it was just part of like an Andy Kaufman kind of thing.
I mean, I was doing a shtick too. I mean, I was able to do my comedy.
You were. It was great.
But I was kind of, people were worried for me.
Right.
And I didn't see what they were worried about, but they were worried. Like, even Chris D'Elia called me and told me, Brody.
Well, that's who I called first. And I said, are you looking at this? And he goes, I'm going to call him up, Yeah,
told me to get some rest. And,
yeah.
And I wasn't tired, and people were calling me. And then I felt great, but my friends were worried for me.
Right.
And that's why I said, like, back off, leave me alone. I got a gun, which I never had. I was just like, I think part of that is just from doing all these crazy things at the Comedy Store, these late night crazy
you do that
stuff
all the time up there. I could take my head off, or whatever. You don't even know what you say. It's just fun.
Yeah, and but I was never violent. I mean, I was combative.
Yeah.
But people are combative. I've seen a lot of comedians get into fights with people and audience members and other comedians. It was just out of character for me.
My favorite scene in the pilot or the HBO show is when, by the way, what's it called again?
Brody Stevens, Enjoy It.
That's it. And it's on HBO Go. You got to see this. It's great. But one of my favorite scenes, besides the Chelsea lately, is when you talk the cops out of arresting you.
Yeah.
It's amazing because they come to arrest you. And
Detain me, yeah.
Detain you, and you tell them basically your credits and like your stage thing, like I was on the Hangover. I'm just kidding. And they leave.
Yeah. Well, I told them, I was just being honest. What happened? I said I went in there and I was being friendly to this guy, and this guy was a jerk to me, and I yelled at him.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Which is what happened in the Starbucks. And he complained to the barista, and then they called the police like I was being belligerent.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like, everything was a show to me. It was like a reality show.
Yeah, to me, it looks like on the outside, like what you got to do is just fucking be crazy these days, and you just keep getting stuff like Charlie Sheen and someone else. Nick Nolte all the time.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson, of course, he's doing dumb racist stuff.
Yeah.
But people like the train wreck,
Yeah.
And if you can formulate that into working still without people hating you, man, it's a home run. I mean, Charlie Sheen, how many chances is that guy getting?
Yeah, he's turned it around,
Turn it around, man.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So far,
I think if you're totally open like you are, like Charlie Sheen's like, look, I do coke, I fuck whores, and I'm a crazy man. There's nothing to find out about you to expose. So people are like, this guy's raw. I like it.
Yeah.
Or if you hid that stuff, then they find it like TMZ and they go, Brody Stevens does hookers.
Right.
And then they think they've got the big thing on you.
Which I don't.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying.
I wish I did.
Yeah. You don't do hookers.
No, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is. It is. Did you get any money for the HBO thing?
I mean, I got a little bit up front. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I got some, not a lot,
right,
but enough to where it was like work money.
So back to my question. How did the HBO thing come about?
Basically, Zach Galifianakis wanted to produce some kind of show for me.
Right. Now, how did you guys meet?
We met through doing comedy, basically.
Years ago?
Yeah, around 2000. I knew Zach briefly in New York City and right before 2000. Then I moved out here.
Right.
And I would say in 2001, we started hanging out more.
And were you doing comedy at like the 101 Cafe with him and Bobby Lee?
Yeah, the 101 right
I heard
there.
About that. They just had like a stage in the 101 Cafe and guys went on.
Yeah, and it was Thursday nights or something like that.
Right.
We would do the show there, and then I hung out with Zach mostly at the Chicago Comedy Festival in 2001, and that's where we
hit it off.
Yeah, we hit it off and did some shows, and then after that, I worked at Best Damn Sports Show, and then I would hang out with Zach after the show. So we spent.
Was he on that?
He wasn't on it. No, never on it.
Oh,
but
you would just go hang with him.
I'd go hang with him after it,
right?
Because I was over on the West Side, and so we hung out a lot. Then we would do shows at Largo, and he would involve me in different sketches.
Right.
So I owe Zach, everything.
It's always amazing when you get a guy. I love this. There's two different kinds of guys in the business. There's guys that get a job, and they never, ever want anyone to get big, too. So they keep your friend, but they never bring you into the fold.
Right.
And then there's other guys, such as Zach or an Adam Sandler, guys who bring everybody in the fold. And you could see Zach. I mean, you're calling, you're abusive to him, you're crazy to his phone. He said he couldn't even listen to him because they were heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And he stuck in there. Any guy, I mean, that guy's one of the biggest stars ever.
Yeah.
Everybody else would be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, Zach is a great guy, and he could have left me. All my friends could have left me and turned their back on me, but they didn't. And I owe a lot to my friends for being there for me, because that wasn't me when all that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
That
and everybody knows that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm better now. I'm stable now, but now I deal with depression because I'm depressed.
Are you on meds?
I'm on Lexapro for antidepressant.
Like, what is it, like a smaller dose or something?
I take 20 milligrams, which is a therapeutic dose.
Do you want to get off it? I mean, you got off them. Do you want to be weaned off in the proper way?
Well, yeah, eventually, but I think right now, because I think I need them. I'm going through, I guess it's clinical depression. I don't know. It's the opposite end of what I was going on before. Right. And doing these podcasts help out.
Yeah.
You know, it's affecting my comedy a little bit, I'll be honest. I'm not able to... If you look at what depression is, if you look at the signs of what... I have it. Right now. Right. And even though I'm having all these great things, the HBO thing feels great.
Yeah.
My friends, I feel great about my friends. I feel great about the support. But in terms of low energy, in terms of not eating properly, in terms of not having interest in things I had interest in before.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going through that.
Right.
And I don't know where it's coming from. And it could be maybe...
Is it the meds?
It might be.
Right.
I mean, I'm on Abilify also. That's what I wasn't on that before. It's
What's that?
It's called like an antipsychotic or a mood stabilizer.
Right. Now, last night you smoked some weed.
Yeah.
What is that? That's got to turn you upside down, right? I mean, do you smoke weed a lot? I didn't even know you smoked weed.
I mean, at the comedy store I will.
Right. But that shit will fucking throw you upside down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw you right away, you're like, man, I smoked weed. I'm too stoned.
Yeah, too stoned.
Yeah.
And I know I can't perform that way. And you know, I seem fine right now, right? Because
absolutely
a lot different because I'm not on it.
Right. Because that weed was strong, and like weed with antidepressants, it's got to be like a whoa.
Yeah. Well, I could smoke it with the Lexapro, but I think the Abilify, that's an add-on. That's something different.
Right.
And I wasn't on. I want to get back to where I was feeling about a year ago before all this stuff happened. I want to get back to those energy levels that...
Yeah, that's when I kind of first met you. You were in the parking lot. You're doing a lot of kettlebell workouts before you'd go on. You were always really up, like, yes, I'm working out, about to go on and do these jokes.
Right.
And you were like, you had a fire going in your eye. And there was
a good thing, not... I wasn't...
a great thing.
I wasn't...
No, you were working out, and you were just,
I mean, I still work out. I still I hike now.
Right, you hike.
And I do push-ups, but I'm definitely not exercising like I was before.
Yeah.
And supplements I'm not doing like I was before.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe I need to get back into those things. I don't know. But it could also just be the summer. It's so hot around here, and that, like, just...
Yeah, it's like been over 100 every day here, which just feels like 1,000. You know, because you're in traffic.
Yeah.
People are, rude. You know.
Yeah, you got to stay calm, and you gotta have a good support system, and
stuff doesn't come through you thought was going to.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta handle a lot. That's why most people walk. You know,
they just give it up.
Yeah, they just give up.
Yeah, I can't give up right now. I mean, what am I do? Give up now with this HBO thing? It's like I got to try and get a season 2 out of it.
I would never give up. What are you gonna do?
I'd like to do. Oh, instead of if you give up.
Yeah, like what? Why would like people like us? That's what we do every day. I'm at the Comedy Store every day. So are you. What do you do when you don't do that? Can you imagine just dealing with normal people? Hey, we're going to Kathy's dinner party Saturday. Fuck no. You know what I mean?
No.
Hey, we're gonna go hiking. With these people and have a picnic. Nah. You know, just that.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
That shit makes me nauseous.
But going to the Comedy Store, I like going there.
Yeah,
I like going to the Laugh Factory.
Me too. I think it's the darkness of the comedians I like too. You know, it's just a dark energy that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I've really leaned on the comedians. A lot of the young comedians, they're good guys and good gals too. You know, and the comedy community out here is very supportive.
Yeah.
And they've been there inviting me to movies, going hiking, and and going to parties and that sort of stuff, and hanging out at the Comedy Store, and it's like,
oh, that's a funny scene in your show where Chelsea's talking about you're having an episode at her party or something. Is that her party? No, Sarah Silverman's party.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that's a great scene. This show's great now that I keep thinking about it. It's so good because you've got actual real people on there. And to me, you could almost keep going and just start writing it. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because the reel is so absurd that you would think it's, somebody might think that if they don't know you, was like, this is funny. It's all somebody wrote this, right?
No.
No, I'm saying though, an outside person.
Yeah.
So you could just keep going and write it.
Yeah.
You know?
Ride the wave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want to do a season 2. I want to, explore some other things, continue with my stand-up, continue with the other end of it, getting and then trying to go on some more dates and just whatever it is.
With chicks?
Yeah.
You going out with chicks? I see the part where your mom asks you something about
Not
chicks.
so much.
And what are you doing? Online dating, or you meet them at shows?
I did an online dating site.
Which one do you use?
OkCupid.
Oh, yeah. My buddy's on that right now. He's trying to get me to get on it.
Does it work for him?
It works for him a lot, but as I put in the things for me, like we were sitting there, it just seemed like a lot of baggage was coming up.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to look at it because when you first see somebody you want to go out with, it's mostly visual.
Yeah.
And I think there's a type of chick that I like kind of the Jewish Sofia Coppola, kind of Jewish American prince, that kind of look.
Yeah.
And there's more of it in New York, You
get a lot of that in New York.
Yeah, you get a lot of that in New York. So first off, I just like the look, and then I'll talk to the person, So it's good for that. But if you don't see anything you like, man, it's crazy what's out there.
Yeah. I think I'm going to probably have to get set up with somebody, have a girl, go have a girlfriend for you kind of thing.
Right.
And I think the HBO is going to help me with that.
That's going to get you some chicks.
I think it should.
Yeah.
Not that I did it for that.
No, yeah. But it's your act, when you go on stage, some girls might think like, whoa, this guy's mean or something, Like if you go on like, put your arms down, uncross, but you're this great guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the same time, you're going positive energy.
Positive energy works.
It does.
I don't always subscribe to it. People think like a Mr. Positive Energy guy.
Right.
I'm saying like positive energy works. If you can do it and you can find it, good things happen with it.
Right.
But it's hard to like always do that. It's hard to be positive.
It is. I get a lot of flack. Sometimes Bobby Lee will be telling me, like, some people say you don't talk to them and you're mean. And it's like, when you're like my age, you don't have a lot of time to just hang out and party and talk and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm there to work and try to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Where if I was 22, 23, I would hang with everybody till 5 a.m. and do coke and smoke weed or whatever. But and some people are just bullshit, and I don't want to get into that circle. I need to go on and stay positive.
Yeah.
You can get into that negative cloud, and if I bypass that, it's better for me. And if that looks mean, that's just wrong,
Right. No, I don't think you're mean at all.
Yeah,
you're just there for your
there to work.
Yeah, you're there to work. It's business. You're having fun with it.
Hell yeah.
But you can get pulled into dark circles at the Comedy Store.
You can. And I think also people send out negative energy. If you're starting to get somewhere and they're not, they have to look at their self in the mirror and they don't like what they see. Like, well, maybe I'm not writing every day. Maybe I'm not hustling like him. Maybe I'm smoking too much weed or playing video games. And then instead of just fixing their self, they just start throwing hate on me or somebody that's going somewhere,
Yeah, they do that. That's a common thing. I don't do video games, thank God.
Yeah, me
Not
either.
thank God, but that would probably take up time. And never done cocaine, don't wish to.
Right.
Smoke pot, maybe too much.
Right.
And I need to write more jokes.
Right. There is a scene on there where Zach says you're doing stuff from 9 years ago or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about jokes. It's like, it's hard to come up with new jokes. And
it is.
some people like sometimes I'll do these old jokes, and I'll do new stuff too. It just depends on where I'm at. I can do these hipster rooms. I'm good at the hipster B-level rooms. They get it when I can talk and rant. I'm more comfortable there.
It's more of the style of that room too, like a meltdown room. I notice when you go there, I go to Meltdown sometimes, and it's more stories and stuff that people are laughing at, like stuff that happened to the guy, which is great for you because shit happens to you.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, it's a complete opposite from the Laugh Factory. The Laugh Factory, you got to have that scripted,
polished,
boom, 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 and I don't always have that. I mean, I do, but it's not going to be, brand new stuff every time. I'm not a prolific writer like that. I do have jokes, and
yeah, you do. What got you into comedy? You were a baseball player, right?
I played baseball, and I was at.
Did you play pro?
No, I played in college at Arizona State. I would have gone pro if I didn't hurt my elbow. I had surgery on my arm.
What position did you play?
Pitcher.
Pitcher? You were a pitcher?
I was a pitcher.
Could you throw a knuckleball?
No.
Could you throw a curve? What were your throws?
Fastball, curveball, changeup.
Right. And how long did you pitch? Since like Little League?
Yeah, pitched in Little League, high school.
Well, who's your dad? Because he's not on this show at all. Is he alive still?
He passed away in 97.
And he was the guy that got you into baseball?
Well, he loved baseball, and he'd be at all my games.
Right.
But I was living with my mom and my sister when I started doing Little League, but my dad would be at all the games.
Sacramento?
Down here in Tarzana. We did live in Sacramento for 3 years.
Right.
But I didn't start doing baseball until living down here in the San Fernando Valley.
Right.
And I got into comedy, so I played baseball. So that was my thing.
You get hurt, you're out.
Right. You get hurt, you're out. But when I played high school, it was like, I just want to play baseball and do my school. I was into girls, but they weren't all into me.
Right. That's weird because you were a jock. Chicks love jocks in high school.
Yeah, but I was goofy, like
I know some goofy jocks, man. They got the hottest chicks.
They did?
Yeah. And I was like the rocker stoner, and I didn't get chicks at school at all, but I got chicks outside of school.
Oh, you did?
Different style, yeah.
I got chicks more after college.
Right.
Like right after college, I started getting girls like in Seattle and New York a little bit, and then even out here when I first moved back out here.
From comedy?
Yeah, like some girls are comedians, some girls saw me doing comedy, that kind of thing. So
how do you get into comedy?
I got into it basically at ASU. I was playing baseball, and I was kind of like into my baseball, into my school, just wanted to graduate. And then the last couple semesters, I had some electives, and I took an acting class just for the heck of it.
Right.
Because people said, "Oh, Brody, you're funny. You should be a comedian or something." I never thought about it.
Right. And how old were you?
Like 21, 22.
Wow. All right.
And I took an acting class, and it was fun. It was like cute chicks in there, and they were laughing, and it wasn't the jock mentality.
Right.
My whole life, I was around the jock mentality up until I was 23 years of age.
Right.
And that's a tough.
That's a buffoonery, all right? It's just macho. It's everything's, homophobic.
Yes.
There's a lot of, anger and adrenaline going.
Exactly.
There's some steroids going, so it's blasted up a couple notches.
Yeah.
And you can't ever just be natural.
You said it. You see your nail right on the head. So when I took these acting classes, there was like, wow, this is a whole new world for me. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the attention. I'm good at it because baseball, I had to work my ass off just to be on the team.
Right.
Whereas acting, you can kind of like just be yourself.
Yeah, and if they like that, you're fucking going.
Right, and that's kind of what I did. I was just being myself, and that gave me confidence. So I did a couple acting classes, and then I was done with baseball, and I felt like, you know what? I should try and give comedy a shot because I'm fun. People think I'm funny.
Right.
So why not take my strength and see where that goes? So I came back to L.A. in 93, and I took a comedy workshop.
Yeah. Where was that at?
UCLA.
Right.
Pauly Shore's sister taught it.
Wow.
She still does them, I think, down in San Diego.
That's right. Sandy
Seashore.
That's right. I saw her flyer there.
And for me, it helped me
Right.
Because I needed structure. I played baseball. I was all into having that structure every day. And then for the comedy class, it would be like once a week we meet at UCLA. And I just wanted to see if I got excited about it, doing it.
That's right. I mean, it doesn't matter how you get into comedy.
Right.
You got to get into it some way. If it's a class that gives you that comfort around other beginners, cool. Because sometimes the open mics could just be so radically harsh.
Right. Yeah. I did one open mic and I went back into taking classes again because I didn't want to. I saw the open mic and I go, I don't want to go through that, not here in LA. And then I took a business of comedy class and I wanted to learn more about comedy. Basically, I treated comedy like I did baseball. I took baseball as far as I could go. And I said, let me look into this comedy and go as far as I can go with it. Put that same effort, that same energy.
Right.
So I took the business of comedy class, learned all about how the business of comedy. And the instructor said, if you want to start comedy, get out of LA. Don't start in Los Angeles.
Right.
You should leave and go to a smaller market and get your feet wet there and find your voice.
And where were you doing that at?
I went to Seattle.
Oh, wow. You moved up there.
I moved up to Seattle because I had family up there.
Right.
My aunts and uncles lived up there. And they said, why don't you come up to Seattle because they really support the arts up here. Whereas in Phoenix, where I went to school, I had my friends. There wasn't much going on. Yeah. And I felt like if I go to Seattle, I could jump into open mics. And I researched it. This is right before the internet, so I could just like read up on books and all that. But I went there. And I just started doing the open mic at the Comedy Underground every Monday. It was Monday and Tuesday nights.
And were you doing the Brody style then?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, not as, I was hard on myself. I'd beat myself up on stage.
Yeah, that's good.
But then I'd come out of it. And then I did a cable access show with Tana Manu, my Samoan friend.
Oh, wow.
And that kind of like got me...
Right.
Really, because I had a camera and we had to do live and I had to like crank it up and be funny for the cameras and live. And that kind of like brought my energy out of this yelling guy and yelling at the cameras. And we would take calls and it was just like high energy. Yeah.
Who's your influences? Andy Kaufman?
I like Gary Shandling, wrestling, Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, yeah, Beavis and Butthead.
I was watching them in college.
Shit is so funny.
Yeah, super funny.
It's so fucking dumb and so great.
Yeah.
Sometimes Dalia and I do them in the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's fucking hilarious. Just that stuff cracks me up.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead. I loved watching them, and Howard Stern I watched. But Howard Stern rubs off on me too much. Like, I don't want to listen too much.
Right.
I would listen back in the day. And so I think, in Seattle, I kind of found my voice.
That's great.
Like doing the stand-up, and then I was doing this cable access show. We did 175 live shows. We would take calls. We'd do silly videos during the week. It was very raw, very...
Is that out there? Can you see it anywhere on YouTube or anything?
A little bit, but not much. I have a bunch of the tapes still myself.
Put it up, man. Yeah, it's just fun stuff to put up.
Yeah. I mean, some of it's cringeworthy. I mean, I'm better now.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I did that, and I just felt after 3 years I was ready to go to New York. I wasn't ready for LA, and I always wanted to go to New York, to say I've been to New York, I lived in New York. And people were saying, like, Brody, there's better comedy in New York. They'll appreciate your style.
Yeah.
So I went to New York, and I started performing there in the Lower East Side, the open mics. And the first couple months, the comedians were tough on me. They were like sniffing me out. And I know
that scene.
Yeah.
That happens at the Comedy Store, I started at the store.
Yeah.
It was just brutal.
They just put you through the ringer.
Can't believe it.
It's like, I would, 2 weeks ago, I was loved in Seattle. Now I come here and I'm hated.
Yeah, and you just want to smash people because you can't believe what they're saying to your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I just stuck to my guns and I go.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not this guy you think that I am.
Yeah.
I'm a little different, I guess, but seemed to work in Seattle and it seemed to work playing baseball for all these years. Now I come here and I don't know how to act or behave, or I'm a weirdo. So I just stuck to my guns and everybody came around, and then eventually.
Right.
But I didn't know they would.
Yeah. No, not at all.
You don't know when you're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I just kept doing my open mics and doing Lower East Side stuff. And you got more, New York, it's just, can't compare it to Seattle, really.
Right, not at all.
And I barked at the Comedy Cellar. I was a tour guide at Radio City Music Hall. I waited tables. And then I started meeting people. I traveled around. I did some college gig, game show type things. And then I started doing Luna Lounge. And when I did Luna Lounge, which was their big alternative show, I would do it like with Mark Maron and Todd Barry and Dave Chappelle and Janine Garofalo. And after I did a couple of those, I felt like, I'm holding my own with these guys.
That's great.
I mean, nobody's thinking like, who's this?
Yeah, right. That's big names, man.
Right, back then. And it was like, it gave me the confidence to move back to Los Angeles. At that point, that's 6 years in, I felt like if I went back to L.A., I had a marketable skill.
Right.
And I could get on TV or I can get a job or something because my friends were moving back to LA and they were getting gigs.
Yeah.
So I moved back and and like I said, I'm from LA, so I had a place to stay. I had a car. I didn't have to go, learn everything about Los Angeles. You see a lot of comedians come out from New York and they can't stand it out here.
Yeah, because they just end up moving. They live like, I got a place in Encino. Well, now you're in traffic. You know what I mean? Or I'm staying with a friend on, say, like Culver City.
Yeah.
It all seems close until they got to go somewhere, and then it just starts eating them alive because traffic and, gas.
Yeah.
And car. And, it's so different from New York where they just jump on the subway and go somewhere.
It's different. You got to at night the traffic's not as bad as here. I feel like after 7 o'clock you can get around. Mm-hmm. But I try not to, and then sometimes you just have to be stuck in traffic. You just got to learn to deal with it and have a zen attitude about it.
I just, I ride a motorcycle, so no traffic.
You don't have to deal with it.
I just split through, but I see people just sitting there smoking weed or.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, everybody smokes weed on the highway. It's crazy.
To help them relax.
Every third car is smoking weed.
Really?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You're just driving through. It's just like a fucking waft. Just like, weed, cigarette, weed.
Oh, you could smell it come in between?
Smell it, man. Totally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I guess that's how people have to deal with the traffic if you're stuck in it or, listen to a good podcast or listen to the radio.
Podcasts are great for traffic.
Yeah.
You think the podcast is getting old already?
I mean, everybody's got them.
It's flooded, right?
It's a little saturated, but you got to do them. I mean, they're just good practice.
I don't even usually I don't have comedians on, but the reason I wanted to have you on is I love to have guys that have been in who are working in the biz on TV and movies because I think Middle America doesn't understand how fucking hard this is. I mean, I'm sure they know it's hard, but not really what it takes out of a person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brutal. You the people that make it without sucking dick on a reality show or something are true warriors, because it's so hard and it's so brutal. Like go to an audition, you think you did good and nothing.
Yeah.
And the next person got it and you're like, why did that guy get it? Did I do something wrong? I was rocking. Or you're horrible. You're not in the mood. You go in, you're terrible. It's just, it's a fucking crazy.
And then you get it.
What was it like working on The Hangover in Thailand?
That was pretty cool. Hangover 2 over in Thailand. I was able to get that. They flew me out there, and that was kind of cool just being a part of the movie. I knew I belonged because I did Hangover 1, and I just went out there, and I followed directions, and didn't get into trouble. And
because there's trouble in Thailand. Where you just stay in your hotel and then go to the set? You didn't go out at night or anything? Huh?
We went out at night a couple times. I mean, you can go out to eat and all that stuff, but we didn't do anything super crazy. I didn't. I was there for about 12 days.
12 days.
So I stayed in the hotel. I'd work out.
Right.
Went out a couple nights. You get massages during the day if you could, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
The massages are cheap there, but...
Happy ending massages?
If you want that, I think.
Yeah, I see. I hear about it. Thailand's just, that's what it is.
I mean, there's girls there. You can just pick them out. It's all, if you're into that, doing all that sort of stuff. I guess one time you go there and just, you can live it up.
Yeah, I'm not into Thai chicks, so it's just not going to happen for me.
Well, they got girls from Cambodia, Vietnam. It's
not for me. Some guys, man, they just get that, That Thai flu. I had a roommate, man. He was just every summer, I'm going to Thailand for the summer. I'm like, you're gross, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they get
They get that thing. It's just like
the patriots, the expats. They move there.
Yeah, they moved there. I know a guy right there who moved there. You know, it's just like, so what? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I got 3 or 4 girls. Like, who cares? You know
Right.
what I mean? He like, what do you talk to them about? You
don't.
You don't. You just like, whatever. I'd rather be alone.
Than be.
Yeah, than have Thai girls around that I don't talk to or anything just to have sex with. You know, it's just
They
weird.
do take care of their men over there.
They
That's
do.
very.
They do.
If you're looking for that.
I do like Thai massage, though. Man, I don't know how they have that strength, and I love that.
They walk on your back.
And they stretch you all weird, and it really takes a lot of stress out of me. Like, if I was making some good money, I'd probably get 3 times a week get them. Because I love it, you know. Like, I go to this one chick in the valley that does Shack. She used to.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know how she has the strength, but she's like, her hands could probably just, crush a bottle.
Really?
Yeah, she's just like on my neck, my hands. She does my hands. My hands are always sore from riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
And my feet. Awesome.
Yeah. Massage that's another thing I haven't been getting. Like treating myself
Yeah,
is
they
like
cost money, though.
It's expensive.
It is.
So you gotta. These are. That's why you gotta find other things to replace that.
It's right. It's right. It's true.
Try and get out in the sun. Try and walk. Try and hike.
Yep.
Try and drink a lot of water.
Since I started comedy, I'm just a lazy piece of shit because I work so hard at comedy that I used to go to the boxing gym every day.
Yeah.
I don't do that at all. You start eating shitty because you're out after shows.
Yeah.
And then you sleep during the day. And that's why comics die young. It's just a fucking abusive way of your body.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, well, you were working out a lot when I first met you.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty inspirational, And I was even a year ago hiking a lot and going to the gym and stuff. But, man, I work 7 nights a week, 3-4 shows a night. And then I'm always stressing where I'm going to get money.
Yeah.
So that adds to the hustle during the day of trying to get money. Now, if I had a little money, like I don't even need a lot of money, like say $3,000 a month, I'd be going to the gym every day. I would just be set,
Working out.
Yeah, working out and then listen to my sets and then get ready for the night.
Yeah, it's stressful. I mean, I lucked out with this HBO thing, if
That's
you want to say that. And I'm hoping for a season 2. I'm hoping for, it's a good calling card. It will always be there.
Right.
Type of thing
What
for
are
me.
they saying about it? Are people watching it?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of great feedback. I mean, this is by far the most feedback positive
Right.
I've gotten on anything.
Now,
So
what would determine if you get a season 2? If Zach does it or if they like the numbers? This is a whole new market for HBO, right?
yeah,
Do something cheap, put it up, see if people are watching it online.
right. See if they like the numbers. See if they like the content. It's getting good. It's getting critical reviews, which is good. Maybe it won't have great numbers.
Right.
But
also it seems like they could put it on
regular HBO.
in between when you're waiting for a show, like they run a lot of ads, just run the 15-minute bit,
Yeah.
on, say, Sundays.
They've been running, I think they're going to run some promos on HBO for it, if they
Right.
haven't already.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to, I got to do that. I got to have goals for that. Goals to be acting some more, auditioning.
It's kind of a simple show, though, right? You could do it on your own if they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you started to get a following, you could make your own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And start doing it that way. I understand, like, it's not as appealing, and probably a lot of viewers would drop off, but it's so simple to do.
Yeah. Well, I don't edit. I didn't edit the thing, and I didn't
Right.
direct the thing. I was just being me. I came up with the some of the structure,
Right.
and then I was me. And other than that, I took direction,
Yeah.
and I was there in the edit base helping.
Right.
I wasn't like telling them what to edit, but
Yeah.
I was there with the editors. I was there through most of the process.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was my first show too. So now the second show or the second go around, if there is one or what that is,
Right.
now I know I'm kind of like ready for it. I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
And there's some things I still want to, look into, and season 2 could be good.
What do you think season 2 would cover?
I don't know, maybe more with going to Arizona, going to Seattle, dealing with my cable access show, dealing with reconciling with Tana, my old comedy partner.
Right.
Also getting back into where I was before, right before the first season, before my episode.
Yeah. Do you think the episode has hurt you at all? Because I think you came out pretty unscathed. At first, it seemed like for about a month, people were like, "Oh, there's Brody," and they dodge you.
Yeah.
No,
I'm great. Like, everyone treats me great. I have no problems. I'm just going through the opposite end right now a little bit with the depression, the clinical depression, due to whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm on Lexapro, which what I was on before, and I'm on Abilify.
Right.
Which is an add-on, and that kind of maybe makes me feel a little weird. I don't know. I feel pretty good right now, this very second.
Right. Yeah.
But I just feel overwhelmed by things. I'm not feeling anything different than what other people feel.
Right.
It's just how you handle it, how you deal with it.
Now, one thing I noticed about your show is your apartment looked pretty depressing. I mean, I was looking at it like, did he ever move in? You know what I mean? It just kind of looked like you just kind of had some shit laying around, like some kettleballs, and there was
it's pretty basic.
There had no soul in there. I mean, look at this house of hoard right here. You could see I've been here a while. Yeah. But what's your new place like? Because you moved to Hollywood, and you were telling me you wanted to get the fuck out of there after like 2 months, but now you're staying.
I'm still there.
Right.
It's the same way.
Yeah.
It's not that great. It's like a dorm, basically, is the way I look at it. And I would like to move, get something a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Something a little more warm.
Yeah, like over here in the like Beechwood area, it seems like you're kind of a guy who likes to walk and just hang out, like you hang out at Birds and UCB and, right in that area,
Yeah, I got to find...
That's one thing with LA. You got to find your base. I moved like 4 times before I was like, this is it. I live in Beechwood. I love it here.
How long you been here for?
I've been here now 7 years. When I first moved here, I moved to Silver Lake. And I moved from San Francisco, and Silver Lake felt like a fake San Francisco to me.
Yeah.
I was there the first year. Everybody's like, you got to move there. Spaceland's hot.
Yeah.
Great bands play. It's really hip. And to me, it was just kind of boring. You had to... it was like maybe one little street or something good going on. The rest was just dirty. You had like gangsters still.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I don't need any gangsters, Then I moved to an amazing place behind the Comedy Store on Queens Road. But then when I went on tour with the Stones for 4 years, I gave that up because it was like too much money. It was like $1,600.
Wow.
But it was like just a sanctuary, And then I moved here, and this is like it. To me, it's a guest house, and it was a guy's library. So right when I walked in, you can see I got a shitload of CDs and books and DVDs. I was like, this is it. I got to have this. I begged the lady for it.
Yeah.
I was the first one to see it. And she's like, well, I got to check other people. I was like, please let me have this. It was great. And it had a garage for my motorcycles. That was the
you have 2 motorcycles?
Yeah, I got 2.
Oh, wow.
At the time, I had 4.
4 motorcycles?
Yeah, but then I'm kind of addicted to motorcycles. But then when I decided to do comedy, I sold everything I owned to get rid of any credit card debt or anything because I wanted to be clean with a low overhead and not have anything where I was like, shit, I got credit card debt. That's going to eat up your comedy mind,
Yeah.
So I got rid of all debt after I did that Long Shots movie. I got $80,000 and got rid of everything. Started over.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I burned through that money in the 2 years I've been doing comedy, 2.5 years now. Now it's day to day.
So you got a nice chunk of money for Long Shots?
I did. I worked a long time on that, and then right after that, I did the Tarantino film Hell Ride.
Yeah.
And then I did a couple TV pilots. So I worked really a lot in 1 year. and got some money to pay off every bill I had. And then I put it all in the bank.
Yeah.
And just started living on it. And, I live pretty minimal, but I do just stupid shit like shop.
Yeah.
I think I used to love like booze and cocaine. Now I love shopping.
Were you doing booze and cocaine back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But not like, like I quit just on my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love booze. And then when I'd get on the booze, I'd do cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked where it took me into weird, dark spots. Go on 2-3 day runs with dudes, and it's just wild playing music and just, like on a submarine, like a party submarine.
Yeah, I've never done the heavy drinking so much or cocaine. I've never done that.
Yeah, I got out of it, though. You fuck up a couple times, and you go, either you keep fucking up or you get out. You know? I remember there was this A&R guy that didn't sign our band, and I saw him at the Grammy after party, and I threw a full beer in his face. That was one of the things I did drunk.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, right, all over his tuxedo and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you start doing shit like that, you got to get out.
You're combative.
Yep, exactly.
Like me, being off my meds.
Exactly. Also, the main reason I wanted to quit drinking was it was fucking up my voice. It was drying out my vocal cords. I was having a hard time singing every night, and that's how I was making money.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, my doctor's like, you can't drink. You got to chill out for a while and let your voice rest. And I wasn't resting my voice. I was screaming all the time. When you're drunk, you're like, let's go.
Right.
It trashes your voice.
You got to take care of your voice.
You do, man. Same with comedy. Like I just did 5 shows at the Ontario Improv. Those are like D'Elia, he does an hour and he's like full high tempo, and your voice needs rest, man.
You did 5 shows over the weekend?
Yeah, and they were long ones, 25-minute sets, and that's long for me because we're usually doing 10, 15.
Yeah.
And when you're doing 5 and they're back-to-back, 25 minutes, 2 a night.
How are the crowds there in Ontario?
Eric Griffin, I was out with him. Workaholics fans are unbelievable, man. He's hit a gold mine. That show's a gold mine of followers.
Yeah.
They love the characters, they love the show, and they love everything about it. And those particular people that watch that show have a huge internet. They're on the net, they're on Twitter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they talk back and forth. There's chat rooms on that. So when I did the show with D'Elia, last week, all week at Brea, more people were there to see him from Workaholics than I think Whitney.
Really?
Well, they really like that. He did 1 episode as that guy Topher, and people love that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And now Eric is on the show, and Eric, I love Eric, man. He's just funny as shit.
Yeah.
And those same fans were going, we saw you last week with D'Elia. Now you're with it, so you could see the Workaholics fans,
They're good? What are they, young college kids?
Yeah, and they're really fun, cool. They're into cool shit. They like edgy shit, of course. You can get away with crazy, edgy stuff.
You ever do those Death Squad shows out in the Ice House?
I want to, but they haven't asked me,
Yeah, those are good. Those are good audience. The Rogan audiences,
yeah,
they're good too.
I want to do that. I'm still kind of that new guy where people aren't sure if we should bring him into the fold. You know how the cliques are.
Right.
I just try to work. That's all I do.
It helps when they know you. Then they're with you on everything. You just go up there and talk almost.
That's right. That's right. It's true. It's true. Like even my podcast, I find that you start getting people really positive into it. They're like, I love Brody. You know what I mean? They get into that. It was great. You had him on.
Right. We're gonna have this. I'll promote it, and
That's
people
right.
will hear
and they get into it.
what I'm talking about. And
yeah, man.
I think on podcasts they just want to hear you talk. They don't want to hear shtick.
Yeah, there's a couple podcasts I think that are just too. I think if you're not into the guy's personality, you're not gonna like the podcast because there'll be a guest on that I like, and I'll go, I got to hear this, but the host I don't like. And I know some people don't like me, whatever, that's fine. You just got to find the guy you like. And then once you find the host you like, you follow the show.
And that's what they do now.
That's what they do. And it's fun to do. I love it.
Yeah, it's like it's good training for stand-up.
It really is, man. And also, it's good. I find I like having guys on like you. I talked to you at the Comedy Store. We talk about 20 minutes and then boom, it's gone. You know?
Right.
So it's great to have somebody on. I think it's a bonding. You know?
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a bonding. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Well, anything you want to talk about, man?
I think we covered a lot of good stuff today. We talked
Where
about.
can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Brody is me friend on Twitter.
Brody is me friend on Twitter.
And then people always ask, like, what does Brody is me friend mean? It's a homage to my my Albanian and Chinese busboys in New York. Brody, you good guy. You me friend. So that's Brody is me friend.
Yeah.
They would say. So I kind of just do it as an homage to them. It's not the greatest Twitter handle, but it's what I got.
What about shows? Of course, your HBO show. It's online. You can see it on hbogo.com. Also, I have the iPhone app, HBO Go app, and I watch it on my iPhone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So, you can watch it on all these different platforms.
Yep.
HBO Digital, HBO Go, hopefully some on-demand as well. And the show's growing. It's helping my confidence. And I'd like to get a season 2, but I'll enjoy season 1 right now.
That's right.
And I think it's only gonna be there for however long I want it to be there for.
That's great. Now, what shows you got coming up? You on the road at all or anything?
I don't have any road gigs right now. I'm kind of just here locally doing the Laugh Factory, doing the Comedy Store, doing the Ice House. So you can find me around town doing that. And then I'm just gonna.
You got a Facebook?
I'm on Facebook.
What is it? Just Brody Stevens?
It's Stephen Brody Stevens.
Stephen Brody Stevens.
Because my real name is Stephen.
That's right. It's so weird. Yeah. Hey,
everybody calls me Brody.
Yeah, but not your mom. It's classic.
My mom calls me Stephen. Yeah. Everybody calls me Brody. So I just felt like when I first started doing comedy, my name was Steve Brody, and it just never felt like.
That sounds kind of like a jock.
Yeah. It doesn't sound.
Up the bat, Steve Brody.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt like everybody called me Brody. So why not implement the Brody name into my comedy name? Yeah. And so that's why I came up with Brody Stevens. I mean, I could have came up with a different Brody Johnson or whatever, but I just switched it. And people liked it. And at the time, there were no other Brody Stevens that I knew of. I researched on the internet. It was like nobody else. Yeah, yeah. There's a couple other Brody Stevens now. But I felt like that was a fun name to say. Yep. And then later on, the last few years or so, I wanted to be more open and say my real name is Steven, just to cut the confusion.
Because you go, Brody Stevens, Stephen Brody Stevens.
Stephen Brody Stevens.
Yeah, I love it.
Big Brody protects little Steven. That's what it is. It's like Brody is the older guy, Steven's the younger guy. Now I just combined them. You know, people change their names like Ice Cube and John Cougar Mellencamp, John Mellencamp, John Cougar. Yep. So Stephen Brody Stevens is fun to say. My real name is Stephen James Brody, but Stephen Brody Stevens is a combination of Stephen Brody and Brody Stevens. Yeah. And is it confusing? Yes, but I'll answer to Brody Stevens or Stephen Brody Stevens.
Where should girls email you if they want to email you? Girls,
Brody at BrodyStevens.com.
Brody at BrodyStevens.com. If you want to date Brody, email him, ladies, with pictures, not nude, but just like at least something.
Sure.
And
you can find me at the comedy clubs. I'm at the Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory.
And he's very approachable.
I'm a nice guy. I'm approachable.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you got a girl who you might think would be interested in me, I'm open to that too. Yeah. Yep. I'm a fixer-upper.
Yeah, let's get Brody a lady here in 2012-13.
Let's look for it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Get me
I think each show I'll sign off by doing your email address and who's going to date Brody, and I'll ask you once a month what if you're getting any action from that.
Okay.
Sounds good. So your email is Brody at BrodyStevens.com.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to see what kind of traffic we get for you.
Let's try and do that. And then you can find me on Twitter. Brody is me friend.
Brody is me friend.
And you can DM me and all that stuff on Twitter.
Thanks for coming by, buddy.
Dean, it was a pleasure. I had a
Love
good
you, man.
time. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you around this
Yeah.
week, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thanks,
right.
buddy. That's Brody Stevens right there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And make sure you email him, follow him on Twitter, and check out his show on HBO Go. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next week.